Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Renaissance channel. This is my very first episode, and given the unfortunate circumstances we are surviving, I wanted us to look into this pandemic not from a news angle or medical point or death statistics, but rather from a spiritual, scientific outlook in hopes to alleviate the amount of stress, panic, and uncertainty this has added to our life. Because when a lot is not clear, a judgment call is required. When disasters and sicknesses hit our planet, we shouldn't look at them as mere natural events that are ought to happen and classify them as geophysical or ecological disruptions, but always ask the question, why are we being visited by this particular outbreak at this particular time? Is this a lesson or a message? We live on this planet, but this planet doesn't live in us. We don't know what kind of agreement our ancestors signed up upon inhabiting this earthly heaven. The most reliable reference we have is that we were to live in the Garden of Eden, but we disobeyed and transgressed, so we were disgraced and banished from it. It was only by mercy that we were sent to live on this earth, and before the eternal descent, the knowledge of good and evil was revealed to us. The reward of immortality was abrogated from us, and our souls was distanced from us. When I say that we live on this planet, but this planet doesn't live in us, what I mean is that our relationship to this earth is a relationship of passengers, and that's it. Just like our ancestors, they came to this planet, spent their earthly time, and they are gone. When God created Adam and Eve and placed them in the Garden of Eden, He made everything available and obtainable to them and asked them only to not eat from the tree of knowledge. However, Adam and Eve disobeyed and eaten from the forbidden tree. The question is, why would Adam and Eve violate a heavenly law? And the answer is very simple: curiosity, defiance, and greed. Mostly greed. And in transgressing the knowledge of good and bad was revealed to them, they became mortal and ultimately were expelled from Eden. Did we learn the lesson? Did we humans learn the lesson after losing our place in Eden? In real life, when a person loses their house, this experience would serve them as a life lesson. Adam and Eve were living in paradise with the bliss of innocence and the prize of eternal life, but they lost it all. They lost it all due to greed. We descended to this earth with our greed and perversity transcribed in our DNA. We took this divine land for granted, and ravaging her was a natural process to our instinctive mind. But with equal reciprocity, tragedies devastating the human life were nature's response that the simple human mind did not associate. These disastrous events visited Earth and humanity from the beginning of the ages, and in different forms of earthquakes, floods, wildfires, storms, droughts, and famines they came, but the same results of great loss they all left. What we know for sure about these pandemics, epidemics, endemics is that even though they are not a natural disaster but an ecological crisis, they last for a long time, they kill a large percentage of the population, and psychologically they are more terrifying because they are contagious. What they are is pestilential agents that naturally travel through the air, spread rapidly, and contaminate. Whether this surge is caused by a bug or a rat or virus, antiquity has labeled them as plagues. Many plagues were recorded by history, but the three major ones were the Plague of Justinian, the Black Death, and the Great Plague of London. If you research these plagues, you will notice one common thing. People during those times didn't know how to fight the outbreaks. All they could do was stay away from the infected ones or even avoid each other. As far as to how these plagues ended, this remains unknown. It was not thanks to a vaccine, because we know that the very first vaccine was invented in 1796. The quarantine method did help a lot, but mostly these pestilences subsided with the passage of time. As you may know, everything in this existence is energy: humans, animals, plants, and solid matters, seen and unseen. These viruses are energy as well, with some kind of intelligence, not a fully loaded intelligence like the human mind, but a limited one intended only to carry orders and execute orders. It is not a benevolent intelligence, but a malevolent one, similar to a bomb. What is a bomb? It is a man-made explosive device designed to kill a large number of people and cause massive destruction. In the next segment, I am going to include the concept of time and space. These pestilences, defined as intelligence, were commissioned to go to a certain area, then move to another area, and then completely leave the whole area. These pestilences were programmed to start on a certain date, move further at another date, and leave at a certain defined time. This is all pre-calculated. This is not a mythical concept. Whether it is physics or mystic, these agents do not act randomly. They are rules decreed by one of the universal laws. Despite the perilous time, the people were conscious enough to realize that proximity was without a doubt the social trigger. Proximity was rapidly causing people to contaminate each other. So the solution was to keep the persons infected or not away from each other, to curb the spread of the disease, enhance the social distancing. So this remedy of social distancing and isolation was practiced back in the old ages. Why 50 years after landing the moon, we find ourselves helpless in front of a virus and have no key but to run back to a method used hundreds of centuries ago. In other words, an endless distance in time. Proximity and distancing, also known as closeness and separation. Closeness is a word that denotes affection, warmth, and tenderness, whereas separation is mostly a sad act of distancing. The paradox here is that today, and under the dangerous wave of corona, the act of closeness has become detrimental and separation has become beneficial. Now, the question is, we humans, in practicing this modality of isolation to fight this outbreak, do we realize that we originally have isolated ourselves from our source? We all are connected to a higher source. Whether you reject the idea or not, whether you believe in God or angels or other divinities, that is your higher source. Some of us believe that Mother Earth is a goddess. The fact is that we are living in her and living from her. Isn't she the one who welcomed us when we lost our celestial home? Wouldn't it be wise to switch the acts and come closer to our source so that we can distance this plague and other disasters from us? Mother Earth is a relentless giver, and we have to change our interactions with her by recognizing that we are not separated from her, and stop treating her as if she was nothing but a source of sustenance. She's not different from our birth mother. When we were embryos, we were provided with food and water and air in her womb, and when we were born, we continued to receive our water, air, vegetables, and bread from our Mother Earth. No difference, right? When our umbilical cord was cut to physically separate us from her womb, the real connection never went away. Our mother continued to be connected to us and us to her. Our mother fed us with her body's minerals when we were in her womb, and Mother Earth is now feeding us with the minerals from her body. And when we finish our course on this earth, whether our body perishes in the sea, on a land, or gets cremated, it is still returned to her. We are made from earth, and to her, our bodies will be returned. And while this marvelous earth is continuously working with integrity to produce life, supplies, and beauty in the oceans, the forests, the mountains, and the sky, what are we humans giving her in exchange? We recklessly cause wildfires in luscious forests. We unreasonably and excessively cut healthy young trees. We decapitate mountains and destroy water streams. We irresponsibly pollute the environment, and we cruelly use, abuse, and kill beautiful, defenseless animals. Mother Nature loves animals. She even favors them to us humans, because in their naivety and ferocity, they do not bring any assault on her. They fairly add to her beauty and longevity, and in their existence, they are an extension to her. But we humans are not. We are continuously assaulting this earth, and the joke of the assault is on us. This earth is not a mass of solid concrete. She is a sentient being, more pulsating and vibrating than us humans. She expresses her joy and pains. Whether she is communicating with us in parables or warnings, her message is clear. She is hurting and suffering, and her strident scream stays unheard by our gluttony-clogged ears. We live in a world that we do not have control over, and despite the scientific inventions and technological improvements and astronomical discoveries, we still will never overpower nature to our will. We are looking into all the wrong places to unveil the secrets of this universe. But there are no secrets, only bare wisdom laid in front of us. Today, in this new age, we all and collectively are going through a shift. We are forcibly isolated in a cocoon to face nothing but our conscience, to stop and think of our greed, always taking and never thinking. These catastrophes are not striking to change our lives, but to change our dogmas, thoughts, and actions. I believe that our spiritual journey and our life on this planet go hand in hand. Whether we have been sent here to learn or to be tested, whether we have chosen to come back to complete a karmic contract, giving gratitude to Mother Earth is integral, and it's never too late to renew our relationship with her and heal her by a simple act of thanksgiving, appreciation, and recognition of the great gifts she bestowed upon us. This divine planet sits on an axis. This axis is holding her suspension into the void space. This axis is also the pendulum of time on the sword of the scale of justice. Justice that operates with a precise mathematical calculation. When the amount of violations and hatred committed toward Mother Earth is higher than the amount of thanksgiving, this causes an imbalance of the scale and causes the axis to shake, consequently producing a calamity. When this happens, Mother Earth's first instinct is to save humanity by regulating her scale. She has to free the loaded pan from the weight of the transgressions. And to do this, she needs one single deed. What is this deed? The deed is gratitude. Only this vibration carries within itself the supremacy to dissipate the hindrance and adjust both plates of the scale back to their equal distance. The quicker gratitude is given and in the adequate amount, the sooner the calamity disappears. The longer the delay and the smaller the amount, the longer the calamity remains. Remember earlier when we said that the pestilences were planned to go to a certain area at a certain time? They were programmed to either stay in one selected area, to propagate, or to remain for a few months or years. The calamity is here. She manifested herself to us and she is desolating while waiting for the next order. Her behavior is parallel to our response. Usually in times of disasters, people's first response would be prayers, good deed, repentance, and thanksgiving. And if plenty of that is given to balance the scale, then the calamity will vanish. However, if not enough is given, then the calamity will persist, taking time and space as an equivalent currency until it brings the scale back into balance. This is not an act of revenge, this is an act of justice decreed by the law of exchange. This work is offered to the divine to benefit the planet. Thank you for listening.